All right, welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Andrew here with HitScan. I believe this is week number 4. Correct me if I am wrong, guys. I got degenerate winners here. What's going on, guys?
How's it going, man?
Oh, and I just realized I don't have winners pictures up. My fault, winners.
That's fine. People know the voice, and they can take it from there, I would hope.
Yeah. So we have a probably a little bit of an abridged version today, would be my guess of HitScan, and my guess would be that it should be pretty quick, but I do not know. We got a very short agenda. But we're hoping to do some brainstorming today for the general Shoot Mania community, and then also talk about the current sport or the current state of the esports. So, I don't know, winners degenerate. Do you guys have anything you want to add before we get really rolling?
Um, Not
Let's not
particularly,
go
no.
at once, man.
Sorry.
No, I think that we've got a few things to cover, and there are some big tournaments coming up. And of course, this weekend, PAX, that's a big thing. And at PAX, we will find out who the 16th of the 16 seeds will be for the formerly known as IPL 6 tournament that will be taking place in San Francisco. So that will all be going down this weekend. So a lot of people are gone to IPL, or to IPL. Well, we wish we were going to IPL, don't we? But
Man.
they are gone to PAX to make that happen. So that should be pretty interesting. But it means that it's kind of a skeleton crew on a lot of things this week as well, though, as a result.
Yep, absolutely. What about you, degenerate?
I want to go to PAX. Can we go to PAX?
Yeah, let's just
Can
go
we
to
just like
PAX,
go?
man.
I think that'd be anybody be really offended if we just like took off.
It's probably about as far a drive for you as it is for me here in Texas to Boston. I don't know.
It's 4 or 5 hours, I think.
Oh, I wish it was that close. I would have considered going. Man, that'd have been awesome. No, so let's see. What do we have first on the agenda? We got. I would like to talk about the hub or the face of Shoot Mania, which we've talked about kind of at length
Oh, you're
at
talking about
almost every show.
ShootManiaCompetitive.com, aren't you?
I am not. No. Frisco, is Frisco here? Because Frisco's gonna love you if that's the case.
Does
But
Frisco pay you winners?
No, he's just a beloved figure of the community. I noticed he got interviewed on the IFG Insight this week, too. So.
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah,
he
it's worth
did.
checking
I
out.
haven't watched it yet though.
Yeah.
Okay, so new hub. I
Yes.
would I feel like instead of going towards the direction of having a hub, we've gone towards the direction of creating 9,000 different places to go in the attempt to get a new hub. I don't know if you guys feel that way.
I would agree with you there, yeah.
It seems to be.
We have Mania. Did you say Mania Act 2? What I don't know how to
Yep.
say that. Mania
Mhm.
Act 2. We have the Naudio Forum still, IRC still. We have Shoot Mania Esports, and literally what 15 minutes ago we just saw a post on Reddit for Shoot Maniac.
Yes. Which is actually very pretty.
I
I
actually
like it.
I actually really like Shoot Maniac. Did you get a chance to check out Shoot Maniac Winners with the One?
Ooh, I have not. I will have to go check that out.
It's
Uh,
it's very prettily done. I want to know who their web designer was.
yeah, I really like it, and but again, I feel like it's missing some very critical pieces to give us the face and the hub of Shoot Mania. So, Degenerate, you are much more into the like coding and like the actual like how the internet works side of the internet than I. So, I would love for you to give your feedback on this site before I just go on rambling.
Let me just open up the. I mean, I just like it because it's really pretty. It's simple but and easy to navigate, but you still get enough information just off the top few links here on the front page. Um, it's organized really intuitively. You got home, blogs, news, calendar, media, all that. Across the top, it's clean. It's elegant. I agree with you. There are some things missing that should be there for this to be the hub, as you put it. But
Apparently, I'm
It's
not
Okay,
signed up to
I'm
it.
looking at it now. I see this is the one that Precise from Monomaniacs is involved in doing. I know that he had talked a while back about putting something together of this nature, but I didn't know if that had fallen through or not. It looks like they've just been having their nose to the grindstone making this, and it does look very cool. And hopefully, we've talked to Precise. Of course, Indra and I interviewed us at IPL 5, and interesting dude, very cool dude. And so maybe there are things that if they are lacking at the moment, he would be very interested in hearing feedback on what we can add to make it something, because I think the concern before was that people didn't want something that was too heavily branded with one particular team, like Monomaniac or whatever, which this seems to not be. They seem to have taken that to heart and made something that looks more, for the community. And this does have potential, I've got to say, as far as doing that. So, who knows? We'll see.
Can I just ask you one thing, Winners?
Absolutely.
How did you figure out that it was done by Precise, or not by Precise, but it was something that Precise was involved with that quickly? Because I had to do 2 Who Is lookups to figure that out.
Degenerate, I clicked the About Us button at the top right-hand corner, and it
I
took me
clicked that.
to...
I looked at that, and, it just... I didn't look that hard at it, apparently. Oh, you know what it was? This didn't load when I first clicked it. I remember now.
But also, we had talked a while back because he was asking around about would there be uh, an interest in doing something like this, and of course we were all like, hell yeah, there certainly would be. So no, remembering that was one of the names that they had tossed around as a possible branding name for the site too. But when I clicked About Us, yeah, that was the real Scooby-Doo clue finding thing that told me that that's who it was.
Deductive reasoning with Sherlock Holmes over here.
Right.
Look,
Now,
man, some of us just have different ways of doing things, okay? You go look at the About Us page. I do 2 Who Is lookups.
is your camera frozen? It is on my end. Why is your camera frozen?
Shouldn't be.
Stop being frozen.
Now he just moves very slow. I think he just starting his day, as am I. So
I can't figure out how to unfreeze your camera. Oh well, you got a frozen camera on.
Do I look pretty? Am I frozen in a pretty position at least?
Always, yeah. Very, very attractive.
It'll
you have a
catch
very brooding, intense look. Yes.
Okay,
It's very
so
sport, so.
here is my critique. Still, we got the news information, but we still have no. We can't get maps. We can't get crosshairs packs. We like actual in-game stuff. We can't get, and I feel like that hurts.
Well, and we still are looking, I guess, for some way to kind of draw people in where you can find teams. I guess that would be. I don't know if it's incumbent upon a website to do matchmaking for us,
All
other
right.
than putting stuff in forums about, hey, we're looking for a team and that sort of thing. But I don't know. That's been one of the big concerns is where do we assemble potential elite teams?
You've baited the hook. I'm gonna bite.
Uh-oh.
Okay.
I didn't update this real quick. Sorry. Let me update this before I bite the hook. Hub.
Okay. Meanwhile, I saw Degenerate, so you have fixed that.
Okay.
Watch his internet, his Indrid.
Right. It
Updates.
crashes. Okay. So IGL, right? All of us are working in some capacity with IGL, which is the International Gaming League. IGL is kind of making their official announcement this weekend at PAX, right?
Mhm.
And I don't think we're going to be really, we're not going to really be like that breaking news with our 8 viewers. So, 3 of which I'm assuming are us. So, so to our 5 viewers, I don't think we're breaking any great news here, which would
Our
be
hardcore 5 viewers, yes.
yes, which would be that IGL is going to have a way to um, create a team, right? Host a team, and then also sign up as free agents. And you can then search through free agents to get people for your team or find teams looking for people for all their games, not alone just Shoot Mania, but Shoot Mania is one of their games.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they will be. Yeah, there will be a big push for IGL at the PAX this weekend. Many of the crew are there. John Clark and the whole crew is out there going to be pimping that. So, and from what I understand, they've got some sort of advertising thing where if you're watching the streams, you might see a commercial for IGL. So they're really looking at what their focus is, and I'm not. I think in the materials I'm not supposed to say too much. I'm supposed to leave that to other people. But what the hell? The idea is that it's more for that entry level and the intermediate sort of competitive scene. It's not really. I mean, the pros find the pros kind of on their own, but where do you start as a new team? And so they are looking not just with Shoot Mania, but several other games. Shoot Mania being one of their main focuses.
Right.
To get teams together and get them competing and give them a place that's easy to do that and really facilitates that. So that's one of the reasons that we've all been interested in doing that, because we were all wanting to do that anyway. And then here's some like-minded people setting that up for us. So I don't know. I'm kind of excited about the potential of IGL. So, and the site is playigl.com, if I'm not mistaken. And we will be hearing a lot about that during the weekend as PAX goes on, and hopefully in the weeks to come.
Well, I think the hope is that the site goes into open beta after PAX, right?
Yes, that is what I'm understanding. So, yeah. No, it's not just about Shootmania. They will be having other games. I mean, we're just about Shootmania here, but we'll also, some of us are dabbling in some of the other games as well. I think I want to say what the launch titles are. I think they're doing some of the crummy MOBAs. And what else? CSGO, I think, is involved, and a few other games.
Yep. Yeah, there's going to be a lot. It's mainly MOBAs and shooters right now.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, kind of is
but
all of
MOBAs
esports.
are the devil, kids. You don't want to play those things.
StarCraft 2 is going to be part of it. Yeah, there's going to be.
Yeah, StarCraft 2 we don't have any philosophical issues with, but yes.
MOBAs are the devil, kids. You should probably go speak at middle schools.
Oh, I plan on it. I'm world famous for being the person that says MOBAs are the devil, and I will
Bobby
be
Boucher,
pioneer,
MOBAs are
first
the devil.
Yes, the rehab clinic for MOBAs is coming up soon, which I will be the director of. If you don't get help with us, kids, please get help somewhere.
Yeah, definitely. But so
A subject for another time. Anyway,
the team
back to
aspect,
Shootmania.
the team aspect, I think, can be covered a lot by IGL. However, I'm wondering if there's an opportunity for Shoot Maniac to work with IGL and get like some of that information, like an IGL section or something, like a link back to IGL or something of that nature to get traffic to both sites. Or I'm just picking Shoot Maniac right now because I think it's the prettiest. I really like it right now. I like how easy it is to navigate. Shoot Mania Esports, I actually think has the best homepage though. I love that I can immediately look and see all of the latest competitions going on. But again, that's because it's strictly for the esports, not for everything. But that's kind of all I care about is the
Mania
esports.
Act 2 has a pretty long history in Shoot Mania, the tradition that goes back for weeks and weeks of Shoot Mania. And so, a lot of these guys are pretty well established and stuff. But yeah, IGO will really start rolling out. There's going to be some show matches coming up to kick things off. That will probably be to coincide with the actual release of Shoot Mania, which will be next month. So we're kind of gearing up for all that. Really, all of Shoot Mania, and this is why we're kind of on an abbreviated show this week, is kind of gearing up for the actual release of the game, which is 2 or 3 weeks
Is it the
away,
10th?
guys. So it's so the
Yep.
10th, and there will be a worldwide celebration, kind of like with Heart of the Swarm when they had their all-day celebration of that with the streams from around the world and the universe. I'm sure they're I'm more than sure that they're planning something very similar for Shootmania, and we're going to be a part of that in our own little way through IGL. But yeah, a lot of it's gearing up towards that, and of course the few days before that will be the IPL tournament for the former IPL 6, now the San Francisco. I'm not sure what they're calling it now.
They're calling it a launch
officially.
tournament, I think. I think it's a San
The
Francisco
Shootmania
launch
tournament. The
Yeah.
IPL Shootmania launch tournament. Okay, yes.
Yeah. So to wrap everything up really quick, we need a hub for Shootmania desperately. I love everybody's attempt, but in all actuality, I think it's kind of dividing us a little bit more and giving us just more places to get the same information. And I think if one of the sites were to take the initiative to add crosshair and map packs and map downloads or whatever to their site, it would just absolutely explode. I don't know how you guys feel.
Like, I wish I was more motivated to actually go and sit down and start coding HTML.
Me too, man. That's why I applaud the people who have done stuff so far, because everybody's trying to fill that niche because it needs to be filled. And so I appreciate the people who are stepping up and trying to make stuff happen, because I don't think it's, based on any sort of self-centered, we want to be the next Team Liquid of Shootmania. I think it's more like, guys, we need something, let's put something up. And so it's been good to see some efforts made, and this latest one here, it's looking like a winner to me with a few minor adjustments. And the good thing is that we know the people are very cool, and so there's a good chance that what the community wants, they can deliver upon it for us.
Right. I agree.
Yeah, I'd agree with you there. And I mean, it's not difficult to set up, somewhere to download all your crosshairs and map packs and whatever else. But they might just be planning that for later on as well. I mean, they might have just wanted to get the site out there before they got that part of the back end done.
Yeah, I would have liked, though, I mean, if that is what you're planning on doing, at least, throw a link that goes to something that says coming soon, so people are like, yo, this is going to be the place.
Nothing makes you happy, does it? There's
No.
nothing in this world that makes you happy.
No,
Yeah, man, you can
except
like
for
them on
brownies. I
Facebook,
love
dude.
brownies.
Okay, I'll give you that. Brownies are good.
All right,
Anyways.
so let's transition into really the only other thing we're going to be talking about for today before the brainstorming session, which is we're going to have a new segment called the Esports Corner, and we want to highlight everything. I don't know if it's Esports Corner. We need a better name than that, because I think that's actually kind of crap. I came up with that, just so you guys know. But the esports kind of section of things. And so we just recently had the Shootmania Esports Cup number one, which actually was part of the Copenhagen Games qualifier. I don't know if it's a qualifier technically, but it gave the team free entry into the Copenhagen Games. And that was won by the sole North American entry of SK.
Wow.
Huzzah.
So, EU, in your face, and you got a little tongue out there.
Yeah,
Boom. Grego, I think I hate you. I just read chat.
I'm gonna be honest. I was kind of just waiting for you to see that.
I was changing one of the overlay things, so I had it up over the chat. So, how do you guys feel about North America taking an EU Online Cup?
Well, you can't beat that SK team for just a quality team. They always put it together. I mean, even with the lineups different, whether guys like Rafa are playing or not, their lineup is always strong. And I caught a little bit of that, and they were just having a really good. I mean, the rail play has really stepped up for them, and I think that helps them a lot. And defensively, they are as good as anybody in the EU. So yeah, it's a good sign for all of the world, especially the North American scene, and it really makes things more exciting. Kind of sets the table for all these things that are going to be happening at the San Francisco tournament, because you'll see where you'll the EU and North America kind of getting on the land, and I think that things will be a lot more even. You'll see a lot more parity among teams, as if you will, than we have seen in the past.
I don't know how to say this guy's name. I'm pretty sure it's French, so my apologies. I've always said Leavesu,
Uh huh.
or
It's
maybe it's like
obviously
Leaves
pronounced
You.
Scott.
Right.
Scott. It's
Yeah.
pronounced Scott.
Scott in chat said that that the best EU teams were not playing in that tournament, which was kind of true. Pyrogen wasn't in there. Who else? Like Dignitas, Fnatic, Colwyn wasn't in there. I don't know. Like, I'm kind of surprised they weren't. Like, why would you not want a free entry to the Copenhagen Games? Maybe it's not actually that big of a tournament. But the Copenhagen Games are coming up on the 28th, which is a week from today, and it's a 5K Euro prize pool for Shootmania, which isn't that shabby. Obviously, it's not really worth a North American team going all the way there for, like 5K. You'd have more expenses. But yeah.
I'd have more of a booze bill than that. Come on.
You have what?
Well, yeah, you got it's baby steps, man. It's all, we're seeing progress, and even though it may not have been some of the teams that you'd like to go up against, I think that SK in particular stands up very well with any of those teams that are mentioned, and I think that it's North America has definitely stepped up just in the time that we've been in the Shootmania scene and covering it and being part of it. We've seen progress on this side of the pond, and I think this is part of that progress. Is it too early to say that we're dead even with and that anybody in the world or that sort of thing? I don't know that it is, but we're certainly a lot closer than we were, and as long as there's that progress, and it's starting to get to where we're seeing a little bit more of an evening out, and I think that's good for the scene, because we've covered games where there's just been the one or two teams that are dominant, and it sort of makes things not as fun. Like, what is it? CS:GO? What's that team? Ninjas in Pajamas, that just skeets on everybody they play, and so they win everything, and so you could say that kind of dilutes the scene a little bit, because it's kind of discouraging for other teams. Even though they're not going to win forever, maybe somebody will step up and take them down, but that's a whole other game. I think that just seeing these steps towards a more evened out, where anybody can beat, what they say in American football, any given Sunday. Any team can beat any team on any given Sunday is the ideal that you go for in sports, and I think that that's what we want in esports as well, because that makes it fun for everybody.
Yeah, you definitely don't want to, go entering into matches if it's going to be a lost cause, and this team is just going to destroy you and everybody else in the match anyways. And that's, yeah, I lost my train of thought in the middle. I was reading chat. I'm sorry.
I do that a lot. I was like, and then I'm like, wait, what was being said? It happens to me all the time. I'm not even upset.
I demand subtitles.
Okay, next big competition we have coming up, as I just lost our notes. Let me find our notes again. Okay, is Gamers Assembly, which is, I lost the date. It is on the 30th of March. So that is coming up, and I think the Shootmania prize pool is currently unannounced, but teams are saying around, I think, 10K minimum euro, they're thinking.
It's going to be like 5 T-shirts. Don't let them lie to you.
Yeah, 5 T-shirts.
It's going to be 5 T-shirts, all women's extra small.
Well, that's 5 more T-shirts than NASC was giving out. So.
Oh, bad form.
Burn.
Yeah, so around the end,
we'll
10K,
get those T-shirts one day. That will we've promised everyone.
Around 10K EU, is not 100K USD, but it's pretty close after the conversion.
Yeah.
Uh, no, I don't think it's close. But we are following up by the Shoot Mania launch tournament in San Francisco for 100K. And then, then we have launch. So we have quite a bit of prize pool coming out here before. Uh, oh, no way. You don't think it's going to be 10K at Gamers Assembly? What do you think it's going to be, Leave?
Isn't that one of the biggest events over there or something as far as lands?
Oh, he's saying that the 10K cash will not be. Oh, wow. I don't think it's going to be 5K cash. I thought for sure
Yeah, but in
Europe has been
American
putting
dollars,
out dough.
that's what, like $500,000 American.
Right.
So our economy's bad. That's the joke. That's the joke.
Man, yeah, so, geez. I think we converted it the other day in stream, and it was like 6,400 something dollars. It actually wasn't that big of a difference. But,
The
so,
conversion rate's like 0.77.
I could have swore, though, that there was a lot more cash in the EU for Shoot Mania. I feel like IPL has put out more cash in these two tournaments than, like, everything EU combined right now.
In one big chunk, I would have to say, yeah, but they make up more for it by the frequency of the tournaments that occur. I mean, there are a lot more events, but for North America, really, IPL that's been about it as far as any sort of cash payout, and that's why when we found out that IPL was in bad straits or whatever, that it was a sort of an alarming thing for the North American scene, because frankly, I credit them a lot with the resurgence of the North American Shoemania scene because of these big-time tournaments that they've done. And so when they were experiencing setbacks, and we're told that everybody keeps saying hang in there and wait, because we have all these cool things to announce. So that's why I'm not, shutting the door on them there and just saying maybe in the future, et cetera, et cetera. But that's been the only game in town for a lot of the time here. And what we're hoping is that Ubisoft and Audio comes up with more things here in North America, even if it's, I don't know, guys, do you think that's the way? Do you think it's better to have the occasional one or two big payout type of things, such as Valve does with the International, or do you think it's better to have a whole bunch of smaller tournaments that pay out some money, but not enough where you can, retire on?
Okay, before we answer that question, I want to take this opportunity to say we are changing topics. Okay. And let's just go into our brainstorming section. So
it's all a brainstorming section, but yes.
So yeah, so we're going to go to our last little piece, which is brainstorming, and we're going to talk about big prize versus steady prize. And this is we would like to hear a lot from the viewers here. And I don't know how to add non-friends into Google Chat, but if we can add people in here for Google Chat, and then have them ask questions if they have questions, I say we do that. But okay, so big prize.
Understand their crazy moon language or whatever.
That is true. So. Okay, so big prize versus small prize. You first, there, Degenerate. Or versus steady prize.
That's tough, honestly. I mean, I think that you need, definitely at the stage that the game's in right now, Shootmania specifically, you need kind of the big prizes to get there. But I would like to see, I guess I'd like to see the big prizes wind down after release, but more steady prize tournaments start coming up, if that makes any sense.
Right.
It's a timing thing, really, I think. I don't think it's right or wrong either way. I think it depends on where you are in the lifespan of the game when you're, asking that question.
All right, Winters, answer your own question, sir. What do you think?
Well, I like what he's saying there. You have your more splashy, high-profile type of tournaments where that draw the interest in, or it's like, ooh, did you hear how much prize money they're giving out? So that your slashers of the world or whatever can report that on their shows that get thousands of people, and people can go, oh, cool, and maybe get more people involved, and then start having something where it's a little more consistent, although a little more realistic in terms of prize money. I think that's that would be a good way to do it, and hopefully that's what Ubisoft is looking at with the IPL guys here, because I mean, 100,000 payout is nothing to sneeze at. It certainly isn't compared to some of the other games that we've seen that are at the comparative level of Shoemania. I mean, that's a pretty good payday when you even when you break it down and divide it up among the teams. So what I'm hoping is that, and they have told us, I mean, we have heard directly from, I mean, they've looked us right in the eye and told us that this is kind of what they would like to do, that they can't really promise big money payouts all the time, but they want to really support anything that the community does in the future. And that's financially as well as your T-shirts and your swag type of giveaways. But they seem to be dedicated to keeping that as consistent as they can, and that's I think they see that as key to the growth of their game. And frankly, I agree with them from what I talked to the pro player community. I think that's very, very important, and I'm glad that the developer does as well, because that's some developers find that more important than others, and it's always a good thing when they show that kind of putting the hustle behind the muscle.
I'm going to cop out with my answer a little bit, and
No.
and I think it's true that the huge money draws players, right? The huge money draws players. I don't think Clock and Rafa and them would have wasted their time in here if they couldn't make money off of it. But at the same time, I think one of the huge industry issues, industry being esports issues, is we often have these huge prize pools to draw people in, and then there's nothing in between there, and so there's no sustainability in the like community, right? And yeah, I mean, Lee's saying when Ubisoft cuts the budget, the game will die, right? Because right now all it has is those huge prize pools. Now, you can't... So my answer is you need to have steady prizes. But it can't be like $100 a month. Like, that is not worth anybody's time, But if we could, in America, have $5,000 prizes every month, like, that could be sustainable, And so... And then at that point, I mean, think about it. IPL essentially could host, for their one prize pool, that would be, what is 5 times 12? 60?
That is correct.
So you're looking at $60,000 for a year. So the $200,000 that they've put into it, $60,000 goes into $200,000 just under 3 times. No, it goes a little over 3 times.
Yeah, which is 0.1% of what they'll make on some Ass Creed DLC or something like that. Yes.
Right. Yeah. So why not put that $200,000 into a 3-year commitment, and then people know, oh, this is going to be going on for a while, and I have the ability to get some type of sustained income. Obviously you'd have to win every time, but you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I got to go win every time, and then I'll be rich. That's where you're going with this?
Well,
no.
I feel like you need to have something sustainable. It's called Han Tour. I've never even heard of Han Tour. What's Han Tour?
He's talking about another crummy MOBA. That's
I mean, I know what Han is.
Yes.
I know what Han is. I love Han. I do not know what Han Tour is.
I'm assuming that it's something of that nature, where they have a monthly type of payout where it's not ridiculous.
You're already being told no in chat winners.
Oh, okay. What that
Han Tour is like cycles.
MOBAs are the devil? No, I'm pretty steadfast and adamant on that.
I can't budge on that. Okay, I'm going to change topics here again real quick. Not like completely change topic. We're going to stay in brainstorming. But Leave is saying that he doesn't think it's prize pool. He thinks it's spectator.
I think it's a
Um,
combination of both.
Yeah, well, that's a good question. Where do the spectators come from? And for a lot of the nascent Shootmania stuff we've brought in, it's because of guys like Rafa and Sturmy. Your people that have established themselves in other disciplines, especially Quake. I mean, that's one thing that we noticed at IPL5 when you're talking to guys like DJ Wheat. I mean, the reason that they are interested in it is because these are guys that they've watched for years and they know they're baller, and it's like, ooh, let's watch them play. And so that's one thing that you get a little bit of a rub off of. You get some spectators in. Another part of that, I think, is incumbent upon us as casters to try to make it fun to watch, because I'm hearing this a lot, that people that think that they're accustomed to watching the League of Legends and your StarCrafts and your things like that, and they think that that's esports. And then they go, well, why would anybody want to watch an FPS? Which, if you know your history of esports, that's kind of a silly thing to say, but that's the way things are right now, because people have no, don't really care about history. They care about right now. So it's part of our job as casters to make it fun to watch and make it entertaining. And ideally, our golden goal to go for is to bring in people who don't play the game regularly, but still make it fun for them to watch. I think that's part of what I consider my role as a caster, is to make it fun for people to look at and be entertained by, and not watch something else. You could be watching March Madness, or you could be watching us. So we want to make it to where even if you don't know the nuances of the game, if you can't wall jump and rail shot at the same time and do all the crazy things that these guys do, that you can at least appreciate what they do from how we're helping convey what they're doing. So that's part of that's on us, man. Is the way I see it.
well, I agree that part of it's on us, but at the same time, I think part of it is on what's being pushed as the competitive game mode. We have a game mode that no one's ever really seen, which I think is good, but it's really hard for a viewer to just pop in and figure out what's going on. Like, I don't know how many times I've seen in chat while casting something, "Hey, this game looks pretty cool, but what's going on? How do you win? What is this? What is that?" And I mean, if you could have, a 5v5 CTF where some random viewer pops in and sees everybody zipping around, insta-giving them with lasers, I think they're going to go, "Dude, this game looks really fun." And they immediately know they could go play that game mode and go have the same fun.
Yeah, that's a very good point. And I also think you got to consider that. I mean, FPSs aren't as easy to watch from as a spectator sport as RTSs or MOBAs. I mean, you sit there and you're in that first person camera view, and you're just, all you see is this guy whipping his mouse around 9,000 miles an hour, because despite the fact that he's at 0.001 sensitivity, he can do that because he's some kind of wizard. And all you see is that, and you're like, oh, he's running around shooting people. Okay. Whereas if you're watching like an RTS game like StarCraft, we'll just use that as the example. You see two armies coming in together, and you see what's going on from both players' perspectives. Whereas it's a lot harder to get that with an FPS. That being said, I think it's getting easier now with Shootmania and the way that they have it for the spectators to be able to bounce around and stuff like that. But I don't think that a lot of people realize that it's, going to be a bit easier for them to watch Shootmania than it is for them to watch when they were trying to watch Counter-Strike or Painkiller or whatever.
Yeah, I think you're right, man. A couple of good points coming out from the chat. Number one, yes, the FPS scene is very divided right now, and this is something we've touched on quite a bit. It's kind of a wide open field right now for what is the premier competitive FPS. Everybody's got their ideas about this, and there are several titles that would like to take that spot. And Shootmania is definitely a candidate for that, I think, because A, it's got the support, B, it's got the simple to learn, difficult to master kind of thing that you want. And C, it seems to have, although some pros will laugh when I say this, it does have enough of a skill gap, and that's something that I find that all pro players really want. They don't want random stuff. They want things that are based on skill. They don't want crit rockets. They don't want any kind of win button type of things. So I think Shootmania has a good shot there. But yes, that is one of the problems, is that there's not one go-to FPS at the moment. Another one, and Leaves who points this out, is whether Elite is and we've discussed this at length on previous episodes of HitScan on IBN, that Elite may not be the mode of the future, that it's not, some people don't even consider it the most exciting mode that's out at the moment. But one good thing about Elite is that it does solve one of the problems that you're talking about, Degenerate, about what do you watch, because, when all this stuff's going around, because I know that when we do Tribes of Sin, it's a little more difficult, and, that we've had more experiments as far as putting multiple cameras and instant replays and things like that to try to cover as much of that action as possible. But in Elite mode, it's pretty concise. It's that 1v3. Most of the time you're watching the one guy on offense, and you can see the three defense, and so it's pretty easy to keep up with where the players are and who they are and where they're at. So that's one thing that does work in its favor as far as a spectator type of mode, but we could do a whole nother episode about whether that's the way of the future or not. But yeah, there's a lot of competition right now, and I think by the time the summer's over, we'll have a better idea, hopefully, of what the FPS of the futures, I guess, is going to be.
Yeah, absolutely. And hopefully by that time we'll have either figured out a way to be able to make other game modes more spectator friendly, or at least make Elite more enjoyable to watch. Oh,
well, and play and get involved in it, and it's hard for people to get involved in Elite as much right now, because you have to it puts a lot of the work on the player. You got to find your two other people. You've got to go to your IRC or other arcane ways of trying to find scrims and get better. So there's a lot to solve. And so I think the next few months are going to be about looking at those things and trying to come up with solutions for those things.
All right. So in this brainstorming session, I'm going to transition again here, because I like this idea that was brought up in chat.
Mm.
How do you spell cater? C-A-T-E-R? Sure.
Yes.
All right, so the idea, do you cater to pros or do you cater to casuals? And I think that is a discussion that goes on in every community, right? And here's a couple points I want to bring up, and then I'm going to kind of let it reign free. What are our two most successful esports right now? League of Legends and StarCraft. Okay, two most successful. Is it if you look at the quote-unquote casual players, to play the game, they are sort of forced. There's always other game modes, but they're forced, quote-unquote, because they're not really forced, to play the professional game mode. Right? Anytime you just go and join a random game and you want to play for fun, you are playing the game the pros play.
Right.
Clearly
not playing Star Strikers, yes.
Right. Clearly not at the same level, but you're playing the game the pros play. And I think that is a huge part of it. So for me, you don't casual or casual. You don't cater to casuals because here's the issue with that is I don't know how many like different types of games you guys have played, and you hear those random people who like are just starting playing something like, oh my gosh, this is so broken. This is the most OP thing in the world. I can't deal with it. And you're like, they shouldn't have it. And you're like, dude, that's like the noobiest thing in the game. All you have to do is do this, and they can't win. Oh, really? I didn't know that. So it's like their knowledge of the game is not the same. And so when you start catering to the casuals, I feel like you're catering to a group of people who don't understand the game and can't exploit it, quote unquote, the same way as a pro can. Because it's not that the pros are constantly exploiting, but they're using things the way they're supposed to be broken.
Yes, and wow, man, it is something that is we talk about in so many other games, and it always comes up. I think it's a fine line because also what we've seen, and not naming names, is that you run the risk of alienating your casual base if you push too hard towards the pro balancing, because sometimes they feel like they're being left out of the discussion. But I think you're right. That's where the tough part comes in, is making a game that works on all those levels. And that's why I like the simplicity of Shootmania. I think it opens up enough to make it that simple to learn, hard to master, that we keep going back to. Because you want something that the pros have. Well, there was an interview with the guy, Red Orchestra, one of the developers of Red Orchestra, and he was griping about how everybody just wants Call of Duty. And he said something about compressing the skill gap is the way he put it. I loved that phrase. That Call of Duty basically compresses the skill gaps so that you can pick up a controller having never played the game before, maybe go on a kill streak or two, and be on a fairly equal playing field. Well, you don't want that, but in the modern gaming way things are, people don't have that sort of thing where, if you played Quake, you got in there and, yeah, you got the hell beat out of you for a while, and in defeat, you learn, to borrow a phrase from Tribes, another game with a big skill gap. But that's part of the process. But now people want like how Bart Simpson on his trophy shelf, the only trophy is the one that says everybody gets a trophy day. We're kind of in everybody gets a trophy day sort of
Sure
place with games, and people want some sort of instant gratification for that. So you have to find a way to keep those people in the Skinner box, keep them, pressing that button to get the food or whatever. But you also want something that rewards the time that you've put in, because you don't want to spend hours and hours playing these games and then feel like you haven't gained anything from that. And I've heard complaints on Shootmania for one way or the other. So ideally, you'll hear a little bit, it'll be 50-50 on those complaints if you do it just right, I think.
I don't know if you saw this, but Precise is in the chat right now.
Oh, he's late. He's late to the party. I lost my train of thought. Oh, I remember what I was going to say. You were talking about, we need to basically do kind of make the casuals feel like they're playing more towards the pro level, or play the main game mode. And then you also brought up MOBAs and StarCraft, and you got to think about the way that MOBAs and StarCraft do that. What they do is they do it with the ladder system. That's it's a tiered ladder system, and when you're bronze, you're playing up trying to be gold, or be silver and then be gold. You're trying to do this, and you're not like running into people who are well outside of your skill level, because that's just not fun for a lot of people. If the first day that I'd played Shootmania, I'd run into Rafa in game, I'd have been like, all right, this is ridiculous. I'm gonna go do whatever else I do with my life. You need to let the players feel like you need to show the players that they're progressing, and you need to kind of guide their path a little bit, and I think that's what we're missing.
Do you remember like before like Rafa and everybody came in the North American scene, like the team to beat for a while there was 3C?
No, it was obviously CPOR. I don't know what you're
Text
talking
off
about.
them. Yeah.
Okay, so this is like real early beta. I just get in. I get into a server and it's the 3C guys and they are just wailing on me. Like literally first time touching the game and 3C is just wailing on me. And I'm like, this game blows. Like this stinks so bad. So I totally understand what you're saying.
Yeah. I mean,
Well, but so far nobody's come up with a good way to do your ELO matchmaking type of stuff for FPS, really, though.
Dude,
have they?
Halo 2 did it like 18 years ago and it was awesome.
Well,
Easy,
you
dude.
can debate
Nobody
whether
meant
that
to
was a
offend you.
game for casuals or not, and whether the skill gap was compressed or not on that as well, though.
Yeah, I don't know. And I actually haven't tried the CS:GO one too much, so I don't know if that one is very very good or not.
Well, it's Valve, so you know they'll tinker with it until they get it right. And
Yeah.
if anybody's going to be first under the wire, it will probably be them.
Yeah, true. And I mean there's so much to the actual composition of a team there for CS, you know, where like Halo you could kind of get away with just running around and shooting people in the face. Obviously top tier teams don't just do that, but I feel like when you're random like solo queue type thing, you could kind of get away with that more. But I don't know. I still feel like you have to cater to the pros, but then in return you have to create a system where the casuals are emulating what the pros do. And I really think the word emulate is like a really important part because they need to be like doing what the pros do. It needs to look like what the pros are doing. It needs to feel like what the pros are doing. Like it needs to encompass everything about like what the pros are. So when they tune into a stream, there is zero disconnect, right? They know the map. They're like, oh, this is where I struggle on this map. Holy crap, that guy just did something amazing I've never seen before, and I couldn't do that. You know, like it needs to completely embody everything the pros do, but it almost needs to be forced upon them. Because every casual who goes in and gets pooped on is going to go, oh, all right, screw that. I'm just going to go play Royale because I can kind of screw around and still come in 5th place and feel good about myself out of the 32 people there.
Yeah, I mean, when you say cater, what kind of catering exactly are we talking about? Because I just want to be clear about that.
Yeah, that's a good point. For me, I'm talking about balancing, like map rotations. You know, like how is the competitive scene being constructed? Is it being constructed based off of what the casuals say it needs, or is it being based off what the pros say it needs?
Okay. Then I just want to say this. I think as far as who you should really listen to about what it needs, it should definitely be maybe not quite pros, but your more advanced players. Like that subset should be more who you're going to listen to. If you start trying to listen to all your casual players and all your lower level players, basically you run into the problem of lowest common denominator. Let's say you, I, Indrid, and everybody in chat were all working in an office, and we all decided that we wanted to order in lunch. Now, if we try to all agree on something, 15 or 12 or whatever total of us, then we're going to end up with the lowest common denominator. It's going to be beans and hot dogs or something like that. It's not always the best system, but you can't really listen to everybody. And your pros and your more advanced players are the people who are putting more time into the game and have a better understanding of what the game needs or the intricacies that you were talking about earlier, like with the, oh, he's insta-giving me every time, this is stupid. No, you just got to walk around this fence and you'll be okay. That kind of thing.
Right.
Yeah, you're talking about what's called the Abilene paradox there, yes. But, yeah, I think you're right, man, and we've seen it over and over. And one thing that the pros will, they put hours and hours into the game, so they're going to see these things before the casual, I hate to say, it sounds like such a pejorative term. Casual.
It does kind of, yeah, it is a little pejorative, but yeah.
The casuals.
But you know what I mean? Yes, they're going to see these. I mean, if there's a bug in the game, if there's something that is easily exploitable, they are going to be the people that are on point to see those things first and react to those things and well exploit those things, and that's we see that in the games played out the way they are. But yeah, I think again that's one of those healthy balance things, and maybe as far as bugs and tweaking and stuff like that, you look more to the pros, and then as far as things like a matchmaking system, which we're told is
Well, there's a matchmaking
being
button now in there.
yeah, so that's one of
Doesn't
those
do
work in
anything.
progress things, and that will probably be geared more towards the lower end of the casuals, for want of a better word, as far as how that is designed. But as far as the basic tenets of gameplay, I think a lot of that you have to look to the pros.
Yeah, I would agree. I don't want this to go super long. We've gone an hour. We got a little brainstorming in. We let people know what's coming up. So,
Okay, well, if before we go, since we spent
yeah.
so much time talking about it earlier, I've heard from Precise, and he did say that on the Shoot Maniac website that within the next few days they will be adding downloads for maps and crosshairs, and
Yes!
so the voice of the people is being heard there.
Oh my gosh,
So
I love that. That makes me so happy.
that is definitely a step onto the path of making a real hub for the game.
That is like that seriously makes me so happy. Like I am really excited about that.
Wow.
Me
Like,
too.
I haven't even downloaded a pack, and that makes me happy because again, like all your needs are being met at one place. Man, if only I could get that in the real world, right?
You can. It's called Walmart. They have Hot Pockets and soda.
There's definitely things that I can't get from Walmart.
I think you're going to the wrong Walmart.
Oh my.
And on that note, no.
Oh, and a basic programming note, Defiance, the new game from Treon and the Sci-Fi Channel, is going into beta this weekend, and the NDA will be lifted. So IBN will be streaming all weekend long.
Ooh,
You
the
can watch
NDA is lifted
Defiance
this
on the
weekend.
Deuce as well as on IBN One. We will be streaming it and having fun all weekend. So if you're not going to PAX and you're sitting around bored and you don't want to watch March Madness, you can check us out here on this channel and our sister
And-
channel IBN2 The Deuce.
And I will be
we
joining you
cover-
because I
Awesome.
got into it.
Oh, sweet. Okay, excellent, man.
So yeah. So anything you want to throw out there, Degen, before we take off?
Not that I can think of offhand. No, I'm just really tired.
Winners, you got all your stuff. Gonna be drunken mastering this weekend.
The Drunken Legends will be Drunken Legending Beer Mania. I might make an appearance on that. I've been invited to. They have a guy that does an imitation of me that I'm told is quite good. So we'll see how that works out. I'm curious to hear that. It's always interesting to hear someone imitating your cadences and so forth. So, yeah, the latest place to find everything is probably IBN Casting on Twitter. Just go to twitter.com/IBN Casting. We'll be letting everybody know what we've got going on this weekend with Defiance or Tribes or Shootmania or all the games that we cover. And I'm Winners with the One. You can find me at Winners with the One on Twitter as well. That seems to be the easiest way. 140 characters or less. You can just say, hey, here's what we're doing. No hassle. You can just check it out. That's why we like Twitter.
Yep, and I actually don't have much, guys. I just want to say thanks for tuning in and appreciate the support you guys show. And be sure on the Reddit to let us know if you want us to change anything. I'm going to try to get one of the people from IGL to maybe guest on here since the launch will be happening for IGL, so maybe we can hear more about what's in store for Shoot Mania. And other than that, just keep being a Shoot Maniac, guys, and support the community. We love it and really appreciate it. You all have a wonderful evening.
And to our viewers, Leave Zoo, Darth, Drake Iden showed up, Precise, all the crew. And thanks for participating in our discussion today. It really helps us out a lot.
Definitely.
All right.